Hey y'all, come make this whimsical junk journal card with me. There's no drawing or complicated steps, just a simple junk journal idea for beginners. If you're new to junk journaling, this is one of the easiest projects to start with, and you can make it from scraps. So I'm starting with a printable that is part of my May Craft and Collage subscription, but you could absolutely go and find your own clip art. The important part is that you can see through the back of the paper like I can here. If you print it out and you can't see, you could go over it with a Sharpie or another marker that's going to bleed through the back so that you can see the outline on the back of the paper. So once you have your pieces cut out, all you're going to do is start gluing them onto your scrap pieces of paper. And you can see here, I almost messed up and put the piece on the wrong side. So if there's a specific pattern that you want, make sure that you're placing it on the paper so that it will have the pieces that you want. So once you get your pieces cut out, you're ready to start gluing. And I'm just using an Uhu glue stick here. I also use Elmer's glue stick sometimes. Like I just kind of use whatever I've got on my desk. I happen to have the Uhu today. So as I'm cutting out this top piece, you'll see here, I'm just using a little scrap of a doily I had sitting on my desk. And you'll see I was kind of playing around with it a little bit to figure out what I wanted it to look like and ended up gluing it on and then taking it off. Because I could see that pattern kind of poking through the back and I didn't want that just kind of my whole thing. So I just took it off, stuck it back on there and was much happier with that. And next, it was time to start adding a little bit to this. So it looks pretty flat. And what I wanted to do was just add a little bit of depth with these Caran d'Ache aquarelle crayons. If you've never played with these before or seen them, they're really neat. They look like crayons, they draw like crayons. And you can leave them just like this, but you can also add water to them. So I'm just putting like little kind of streaks and marks and wetting them down with my paintbrush. And next, I wanted to pull some of the flowers out of my flower shop collage book. So this is one of the things that comes with one of the tiers in my junk journal and craft and collage club subscription. And I really love these little hand drawn flowers in here. So I wanted to make a little bouquet in my boot, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to put in it. So I started just playing around with some ideas, tearing some pieces out and moving them around until I found a composition that I liked. And next, I started cutting out some of the flowers that I wanted to play with and just fussy cut the ones that I thought would look cute in my boot. Most of them did make it into the boot at the end. And once I had those cut out, I started kind of playing around with my little floral arrangement here and decided where I wanted them to sit in the boot. I really wanted to work that little rose in, but I just didn't quite manage it. So that'll be in another project. Same with this little one here. It's like, well, maybe I want like little tiny ones and couldn't make up my mind. So I just went with what you see here and I was quite pleased with it at the end. So once I had my little bouquet in there, I kind of started rearranging some things again just to figure out what exactly I wanted it to look like. And, in editing my videos, I realize how much time I spend just kind of fiddling around with things while I'm recording my videos. And that is so much fun and like such a fun part of the process. Trying to find ways to have that come through as I'm editing these so they're not like excessively long because this was about probably an hour and a half of footage that I've edited down into about 6 minutes. So you get, the basics. But if you do enjoy these kind of longer tutorials and crafting sessions, then it is what we're doing in the Craft and Collage Club, or we're doing them as a group. Um, okay, so next I had everything glued down and I liked my composition that I had going on, but I did not like the background the way it was. It was like it's just that it's everything's competing with itself. So I made my little bouquet and I know I want that to be I like it this way. So I'm gonna leave it this way and just get that done so that I know what we're looking at. And then I grabbed my gesso and just started rubbing it on some of the more vibrant parts, so that everything in the background would start to kind of fade into the background. And then I got my distress ink and one of my little script stamps, and then also started putting in some little white dots, just to kind of add some little interest here and there. And also, like you can see in that right corner, it just kind of pushes that rose back a little bit more into the background so that it's there and it looks pretty, but it's not competing with our focal point of the boot. And then once I was happy with the background, I glued the little boot on there. And then it was time to start trimming some things up and giving a little bit of depth. So this is a Stabilo all pencil. They are super cool. It is a like a watercolor pencil, and it just is really gives this deeper black color, I guess is the way you would describe it, than a lot of other watercolor pencils. And it just has so many uses. So you just put it on there very lightly. It's really easy to get too much, and wet it down a little bit, and it just kind of gives a little shadow, if you will, when you apply it this way. And then I went around with my distress ink, and which I think is Vintage Photo here, if I'm not mistaken, and just kind of distress the corners a little bit and put a little bit on the boot too. Since the boot was so vibrant, I feel like it was popping out a little bit more than I wanted to with those kind of grungy flowers in the background. And that was it. Super simple. And if you like this, make sure to check out the next video. Check out the Craft and Collage Club, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.